Commissioner General Fannie Masemola says Operation Sholwana has been a massive success with 900,000 arrests made in 17 months. He's just wrapped up an update on countrywide crime combating operations. Zola Sholwana is there for us. Zola, very good afternoon once again to you. Now, seemingly the police commissioner is quite proud of the men and women in blue and what they've been able to achieve over the last few months, and especially with regards to Operation Sholwana, but also speaking in terms of the planning that they have made with regards to boosting the police force. He mentioned there 2,800 newly trained police officers being deployed across the country, 4 new police stations, but also, most importantly, 201 detectives that were brought in last year with regards to assisting, and more released police being returned to assist with regards to being detectives in the country.
Yes, indeed, Kat, the National Commissioner for SAPS, has mentioned that the police have made significant strides over this period, saying that they have done, great work in terms of fighting crime and stamping authority in, communities across South Africa. You might have heard him in the morning speak about the community and how the community has played a very important role in ensuring that police apprehend the most dangerous criminals in society, referring to the most, recent incident that we spoke about of a 6-year-old, child that was raped and killed, saying that the community really played a role there. He also spoke about the incident that happened, the tragic incident that happened in Lusikisiki, where, family members were gunned down, and he mentioned that again the community worked together with the police. So he basically said that the relationship between the community and the police has improved. If you compared to the previous years, they wouldn't have been able to achieve what they have achieved in terms of arrests if community members were not involved. He applauded the men and women in blue, following multiple arrests that they have made across the country of illegal firearms, drug busts, and also ensuring that communities are safe. He spoke about 3 provinces that will be receiving much attention. In fact, they are currently, which is the Western Cape, KwaZulu-Natal, and the Gauteng province, not forgetting the Eastern Cape province, because of the crime trends that are happening in those particular provinces. You might have seen that in the couple of months, Kat, we've been hearing a lot about mass shootings in these provinces and serious crimes actually that have been recorded in those provinces. And he had mentioned that they're currently training over 2,000 SAPS officials that will be deployed in those areas to ensure that there's visibility on the ground, saying that it still remains a priority for the SAPS, because that is what community members want to see on the ground. He also mentioned that they will still look into police stations that need much attention in terms of resources, after studying and analyzing the trends of crime in those areas. You'd remember that in a previous briefing that was held by the Gauteng Provincial Commissioner of the SAPS, where he mentioned that places like Eldorado Park, where they're actually quite notorious for crimes such as gang-related violence, they have deployed a team there to ensure that they stabilize those communities, as they understand that gang violence is actually terrorizing communities. So he said that they will continue doing that to ensure that there's a much reduction in crime. We understand that we are approaching the festive season, and a question that was asked, Katlego, was that now that people will be gathering, in entertainment areas, and that's where we have been seeing these shootings happening, what's going to be done by the police to ensure that there aren't mass shootings, as we have seen quite of late? He did mention that, of course, as the police, they cannot prevent such from happening, but he promises that they will be visible in those areas to ensure that, those kind of incidents are not reported, understanding that during the festive season, there's a lot of activities, that happen countrywide, so police will ensure that they are seen by the public and they are visible at every point that they think they should be.
And of course, a lot of that visibility, he also mentioned Operation Valumkoti with regards to the illegal mining and the number of suspects that have been arrested since 2023, just under 14,000 arrested with regards to illicit money activities. And of course, 5 million rands that has been confiscated, over 7,000 uncut diamonds, as well as trucks and generators. It seems as though there is quite a lot of inroads that are being made via Operation Valumkoti.
Yes, indeed, Katlego, he touched on that as well, saying that they are getting to the bottom of fighting illegal mining in South Africa. Provinces like the Northwest, where you would hear quite a lot about, these incidents of illegal mining where people would be apprehended. And, we have seen quite a number of those cases, particularly in Rustenburg. And something that we heard of, which was actually new today, was the launch of the extortionist number. You'd understand that this year, Katlego, there's been a lot of these, or rather we've heard a lot about extortionists on the news, and it's something that's been quite topical, that received, a lot of media attention, and the police, as they've been responding to provinces like the Eastern Cape. We know that in Mthatha there's been, recent killings of people that are believed to be extortionists in provinces like KwaZulu-Natal as well. So communities are urged to call that number that has been provided by the South African Police Service if they suspect of any, extortionists that might potentially, be threatening and terrorizing businesses that are operating in respective cities.
And I think just lastly, Zola, one other inspiring thing that came out of this report is the detectives' performance and how that has improved, because we do know that without the right quality of evidence that has been collated, these arrests mean absolutely nothing if we're sitting in court with detectives that are not bringing in the right kind of evidence in order to get convictions.
Yes, indeed. In fact, Katlego, he made a comparison of, how detectives have, outdone themselves. And he said that he's actually quite confident that they will get through most difficult cases, looking at the quality of the detectives that they have now across the country on very difficult cases, because you understand that these cases take a very long time, and they need thorough investigation to get the right people to be apprehended and brought before the court of law. And that's what the detectives have been doing. And he says they've been working very, very hard to ensure that, criminals are brought to book. And that's something really that was one of the highlights of what he spoke about today, saying that there's much improvement that needs to be applauded and recognized, looking at the work that has been done by the men and women in blue, following the dedication that they've put in their work to ensure that, there's really, change that is actually visible in communities.